Among the many communities getting a new municipal councillor in Richmond County over the weekend were River Bourgeois, which, along with St. Peter's, Sampsonville, and the surrounding areas, make up District 4. That seat is now held by Amanda Mombourquette. Until this past spring, she was the executive director of the Strait Area Chamber of Commerce before leaving to take on a new job as innovation lead at the Nova Scotia Community College. But her big job over the next 4 years is helping to move District 4 forward while working collaboratively with her fellow new councillors for Richmond County. I spoke to Amanda Mombourquette just a couple of days after her election win. Here's that interview right now. We welcome now the councillor-elect for District 4, Amanda Mombourquette, and our first words, of course, Amanda, are congratulations on winning the seat on Saturday night. How does it feel?
Thank you so much, Adam. It feels great. I mean, to have the confidence of the people of District 4 in voting me in as their councillor, I still kind of am shell-shocked by it, and I just can't thank people enough for their trust in me.
You seem to win absolutely every poll, and the width and breadth of your victory is quite remarkable. Were you surprised at the size of the margin of victory when the results started coming in?
Well, I definitely kind of, going into election night, had an inkling that from talking to people that I probably, I had a really good chance, but you're up against an incumbent during a time of a pandemic, and someone with a great deal of experience. So I have to say I was surprised by that margin, and but again, I can't say enough how grateful I am for people having put their trust in me. I didn't expect to necessarily win, but I certainly didn't expect to win by that kind of a margin, and I think it means good things for our future engagement of citizens going forward in the future.
Why do you think you won? Was it a matter that people were looking for change, as they seem to be across the county? Do you think people warmed up to your message or your personal experience? Why do you think you were the victor on election night?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a combination of all of that, and a few things really. And definitely there was an appetite for change, as we've seen at the table. There's not one returning incumbent. I mean, that's generally unheard of. I think also I'm not a stranger to these communities, and I've been doing in leadership roles in volunteer work and in my professional work for a lot of years. So I'm sort of a known entity. People know what they're getting, right? And I've always been very supportive of business, very supportive of community development opportunities, very supportive of social initiatives. So I think that people, that was my advantage going in, was that I was extremely well connected in the community, in all of the communities, and so people, they weren't wondering who is this person. So although I'm a newbie to the political, to the political table, I'm certainly not a stranger in the community, and I really think that helped a lot.
Well, let me ask you, do you feel there was a turning point in the campaign? Was there a moment at which you thought this might actually work? Was it really early on when people seemed to be rushing to you to get signs for their lawns, or was it later on in the campaign? At what point did you seem to think that the pendulum was swinging towards you?
You know what? It was early on. You're hitting the nail on the head. I ran out of signs. I ordered a batch of signs. I ran out of the signs, and then I had to order more and ran out again. So to me, that was a strong signal. I didn't ask anybody to put a sign on their lawn for me. I just put it out to the universe, and people were so anxious and excited to do that. And to me, and I put a Facebook message out about this, when I started to see, the pictures of the kids with the sign and, doing their power poses and, and then knocking on doors and having grade 8 students be talking to me about, what kind of change do I want to bring? Well, obviously they're asking those questions because their teachers are using this opportunity to take a deep dive into learning about civic responsibility, and their parents are obviously talking too. And so that was a real indication for me at a very early point that this might actually work. So it was very exciting.
That's good stuff. Now, the election is over, the ballots have been counted, you are the councillor-elect, and you're part of a history-making night in Richmond County. I cannot remember a single time in the county's history when every single electoral district picked a new candidate as their councillor. So when you looked around and you realized this was happening from one end of the county for another, what did you feel like when you found that out?
Well, it was a little bit shocking, frankly. I didn't anticipate that at all. Normally, like you say, you're coming in as a new person to a municipal council. There's a mix of experience around the table, and this was, this was unheard of. But some people have said to me, well, that's not good because nobody's going to know, what the process is. And at the end of the day, for people like me, I've worked in in and around municipal councils for a long time, whether it was my work with the chamber or the regional development agency. And so having that familiarity with how things work, I think, will serve me really well at the council table. And I think it was part of what made me want to put my name forward anyways, was because I could always see the potential there of what we could be doing when we have a progressive and development focused mindset. And we're working towards the prosperity for everybody. Municipalities are, they're the level of government that are closest to the ground in terms of their ability to impact the daily lives of their citizens. And so I guess I'm excited to be working with a blank slate. Like you said, this is brand new, and none of us have political experience. So I'm so looking forward to working with this team. I can't even tell you how excited I am about that.
Have you had much opportunity to reach out to the other new councillors? I was speaking to Melanie Sampson of District 3 earlier today. She has spoken highly of you and vice versa. Do you get the sense that the conversation is already starting between the five of you as to how to move the county forward?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the first thing that I did, today was to make contact with, making sure I had everybody's cell phone numbers and we're communicating. And because really part of this process is going to be us getting to know each other. So for Melanie and I, we know each other well. I've known Brent for many, many years, and and Mike Digdon as well. So Sean is newer to me. So I'm so excited to find out a little bit more about, what drove people into the decision to run for council, what their priorities are, and just to get to know them on a personal level, because I think that's so important in terms of our ability to work forward as a team. Is we need to understand all of the dimensions of each other, right? So I think that'll be, it was a high priority for me to be reaching out for sure.
And speaking of reaching out, has your phone started ringing with District 4 constituents? Help me with this file, please. Have those calls started coming in?
Those calls started coming in during the campaign.
Oh,
so,
really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're successful, I want you to help me with this. And you know what? That's great. I have a list already made of things that I need to look into on behalf of residents, and that's what I want to see more of. I would like for people to reach out if you're having an issue and it's not a municipal responsibility. Let me know anyways, because I would like to be able to understand the challenges that people are facing here, because that will help us make better public policy.
I didn't want to center on this too much during the whole interview, but I know that when we spoke for my last episode of Telile 24/7, you mentioned to me that a key factor for you deciding to get involved in the race was the Leadership School for Women and all the talks surrounding that particular process of getting more women involved, but as well Richmond Council's refusal to sponsor any candidates for the Leadership School for Women. Looking back on that now, with 2 women elected and a big night for female candidates all the way around Cape Breton, what is your thought on all of this as we move forward?
Yeah, so I remember talking to you about that, Adam, and it definitely was was one of the catalysts, I guess, that firmed up the decision in my mind. But right now, it feels really good that there are women at the table and that our voices will be heard. There's more diversity at the table than there has been in a long time, and I think Cape Breton Island overall has done really well. We've seen Inverness County achieve gender parity. We've got 2 elected female mayors on this island, which is, I think, the first time in history.
I believe you're right, yes.
Mayor Brenda Chisholm-Beaton was Cape Breton Island's first elected female mayor, and now here we have Amanda McDougall. I am so excited to be able to start working with these partners. I think it was a great night for women all across the province of Nova Scotia, and it's nice to see that reflected in Cape Breton as well. And you know, I think it will result in a change in the tone. Certainly that's something that I'm hoping for with Richmond County Council. I'd like to see a bit of a change in the tone of how we conduct ourselves at the council meetings and how we conduct ourselves when we're interacting with residents, for sure.
Well, we'll see how that all comes together over the next 4 years and even in the next few weeks. But as we wrap up here, Amanda, I wanted to ask you, you've made, of course, your official thank yous on social media, but who do you reach out to thank after a big victory like this? Who are the people that you're most grateful for as we move forward?
Yeah, well, I have to start with my family. My husband Floyd was campaign manager extraordinaire. He's been putting up signs and taking down signs and putting up signs in front of hurricanes and all of that good stuff. And I can't thank him enough for his support. I definitely would not have been able to do this without him. And my daughter Julie and my son Ryan, everybody has pitched in. My mom and aunts, like it's been a real family affair, this thing, right? And that's exciting, But I mean, I also had a ton of volunteers that helped out throughout my campaign. I did a quick count on Sunday, and I think it was almost 30 people who have helped. Polling agents. I had assembled a couple of a team of advisors to help me kind of make some early decisions and ongoing decisions, that type of thing. Plus, there's a whole online cohort of women leading change that I've been connected into through Facebook Messenger, and I could not have done this without their support, and certainly the support of our financial contributors. So it's an exciting process when you see all of those efforts come together in order to achieve this goal. And it was a little bit, I guess I would say a little bit humbling, because I felt like I'm surrounded myself with all these people who are way smarter than me, and they have complete faith in me. And I just, it was kind of a special thing for me to be realizing.
Well, we want to congratulate you once again, and we want to thank you for giving us some time here tonight. We've covered a lot of ground in a short time. Did you want to add anything else about all of this before we wrap up?
No, I think, I guess the only thing I would add is I would encourage people to get in touch with your newly elected councillor, even if it's just with a word of encouragement, or if you have something on your mind. But also realize it is going to take us some time to get up and running. We're being sworn in on Monday, October 26th. And so I believe Telile will be recording that. It won't be open to the public. So, just because of public health restrictions, but yeah, it's going to take us a little bit of time to get our sea legs, kind of thing. So, don't let that stop you from reaching out, and we're here to help. But just be patient as we figure out this brand new council with all these fresh faces. It's going to be great.
Well, we've appreciated you making yourself so available to us over the course of the campaign, and we want to thank you once again for giving me a little time here this. And congratulations once again on winning District 4, Amanda. Well done, and we'll look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you so much, Adam. It's my pleasure.
Anytime. Amanda Mombourquette is the newly elected councillor for District 4, the St. Peters River Bourgeois portion of Richmond County. We've been speaking to her at her home via Skype.